A warm welcome to our series, Making the Invisible Visible, Hope and Action Amidst Challenging Times. My name is Ellie Weisbaum, and I'll be helping to moderate and facilitate today. Before we continue, I just want to take a moment to offer the University of Toronto land acknowledgement. Before I do that, I'll also acknowledge that this acknowledgement is not fully comprehensive. We know there are many peoples and histories of the land that we are on that we are not encapsulating in a short paragraph. But for me, we offer this acknowledgement at the start of all of our classes, and together with my students, I really appreciate this moment to just pause in my day and recognize the land that I'm on, my relationship to this place. So I'll offer this paragraph with a broader offering to maybe bring in just some noticing of the land that you're on, the history you know about it. And when I finish, we'd like to invite everyone to drop into the chat who would like a little bit of an acknowledgement about the place and space that you're in. We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this is the meeting place for many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. We're grateful to have the opportunity to work, practice, and play on this land. And so if you'd like, for anyone in this webinar with us, please drop into the chat anything you'd like to share about the land that you are joining us from today. And you should have the option to share out to everyone, or if you're feeling more like messaging us directly, you can send it in to the panel. So thank you. Seeing some things streaming in now. A little orientation for today before I pass it off. I don't want to take too much airtime, but just I wanted to say a thank you to our sponsors for this series, the Buddhism, Psychology, and Mental Health program, of which I'm faculty at the University of Toronto, and the New Colleges Initiative Fund have wonderfully supported this series. We had the wonderful Kyra Jewell last month. Today we have Joe Reilly, who I'll introduce in a moment, and next month we have Larry Ward. And it's just wonderful to build community, see them, and have them come into this space together. And also, thank you so much for all the comments in the chat. We also just want to orient you that we're going to have a presentation from Joe, and that'll be followed by a Q&A. If you have questions arising, you can jot them down. You should also have the option at the bottom to put them into the panelist Q&A, so we'll see that on our end, and you can also drop things into the chat. But not to worry about that now. We can just enjoy Joe's presentation first, and then I'll pop back in when we get to the Q&A and reorient that. I also just want to thank our co-sponsors. We have a lovely community at U of T that's interested in exploring this topic of what is happening inside and around us and how we can hold this with mindfulness, compassion, and engagement. And that includes the Faculty of Law, the School of the Environment, Oise Wellness, and we also have the Academy for Mindfulness and Contemplative Studies from the University of Ottawa joining us as co-sponsors. So a warm welcome to those communities, and also many other communities that I can see popping up in the chat. From registration, we know we have folks from all around the world joining us today. So a warm welcome to all the communities and identities that all of you bring into the space today. And without further ado, I want to introduce Joe, which is mostly to allow Joe to introduce Joe. But I'll just say that Joe is a singer, songwriter, social worker, educator. On a personal note, we first met doing a flash mob meditation in New York City many years ago in Union Square, singing songs and sitting in peace, and I think eating maybe ice cream and pizza afterwards. So I'm happy to be back in a space with you. And with that, I will hand it over.
Buju, Gitawe Nigamad, Indishnakas, Cherokee, Choctaw, Indau, Maingan Dodam, Wawa Atanong, and Donjaba. My name is Joe Reilly. My indigenous name means the one who sings around. I'm Cherokee and Choctaw. I'm also Italian and Irish American. I live here in Detroit, the land of the Anishinaabe, a people of the Three Fires, and that's the language I introduce myself in, Anishinaabe. And it's snowing gently here on our Mother Earth, and so I'm feeling the embrace of the snow, and I hope you're feeling that too. I want to start us off by sharing some of our indigenous spiritual medicines Gonna do a little smudge here. I'm burning some sage. And I'll share that with you and invite you to take a few breaths. This is a medicine that helps us to cleanse, to let go of whatever negative energy we might be holding on to in the moment, to come back to that place of love and courage and bravery and humility in ourselves. So I invite you to do that in your own way. And then I want to offer a song for us to take a moment to connect with our ancestors, the ancestors of this land, the ancestors from our own spiritual and biological lineages. And so I invite you, if you're able to stand, to do so for this song. And if you'd like to move during the song, please feel free to move, but to really just take a moment to be present with the land that you are on, the place that you are in. This is a song that I made with a friend and fellow singer, Frank Animaquam, and it's also in Anishinaabe. It means when we sing, our ancestors sing with us. When we dance, our ancestors dance with us. So we're inviting all of those ancestors to be with us in this Zoom room, in this space, in this moment.
Hey,
Thank you. Take a moment to check in with your heart. Check in with the vibrations in your own body. And if you'd like to return to a seated position, please do. If you'd like to lay down or stay standing, please do what's right for your body in this moment. So I can, I find a lot of my spiritual guidance through our indigenous and native ways. And learning to be a singer in the native community has taught me a lot about service, a lot about expression, and a lot about community. And I also practice in the Zen tradition of Thich Nhat Hanh, and I've been a student of his for many years, as Professor Reilly said. So it's a real honor to be invited to share from my heart and my experience with you, and I hope that that can help support you on your path, whatever traditions inform your practice. My interest is to find the ways that transcend the lines of religion or race or class that connect us as human beings and as spirits. And for me, music and singing is a big way to find that connection. Also through the breath. And so I want to invite us to share in a little guided meditation in just a moment. But first I do want to thank Professor Reilly. I want to thank everybody who is supporting this online series and gathering, and just to acknowledge both Kyra Jewell and Larry Ward as mentors and spiritual older siblings to me, and they've helped guide me and form me on my path. So it's a real honor to be sandwiched between two really wonderful, dear spiritual friends and mentors. Yeah. So find a comfortable position. Yeah, either sitting, you can lay down. You might want to get a blanket. I've got a little blanket on my legs. Feel comfortable. And I invite you to relax your shoulders. I invite you to, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes, but you don't have to. You could also focus on a point in the room, a point of stability or comfort. And if you'd like to, you could put your hands on your belly, noticing your belly rise as you breathe in or fall as you breathe out. Or you may like to place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Or you may like to just rest your hands in your lap or on your side. Whatever is most supportive for you in this moment. And I'll use the bell for this meditation. So when we hear the sound of the bell, Thich Nhat Hanh tells us it's the voice of the Buddha or the voice of our ancestors calling us back to our true home in the here and in the now. We're really fortunate right now to have this moment together. We can let go of any other projects or assignments or tasks that are on our to-do list. Can give ourselves permission to just be here right now, just as we are. Just as we are, and we know none of us are perfect. We're all works in progress, and that's okay. I want to invite us to follow our in-breath all the way in. Follow the out-breath all the way out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Coming back to our true home. Coming back to the breath that connects us all. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. And as the snow is gently falling here in Detroit, Wawa-Atanong, I invite you to see yourself as a snowflake, just letting go gently, letting go like a feather lightly. You may notice some tension in your body, letting that go, relaxing. You may notice some difficulties in your mind, anxieties, fears, suffering. You can embrace that with the energy of mindfulness, the energy of love, and also let that go. We can let ourselves fall gently onto our Mother Earth, feeling the support of our Mother Earth. Allowing our bodies to rest fully on the earth, just like the fresh blanket of snow. Breathing in, I allow myself to fall gently onto Mother Earth. Breathing out, I give myself permission to rest, to be supported by Mother Earth in this moment. Falling gently, resting on Mother Earth. And I invite you to allow the sunshine, the light of mindfulness, of compassion within your heart to melt the snow, noticing where there are any frozen places in your heart and your mind. Just trusting that warmth, that sunshine. Inviting the light to shine brighter from all of us who are gathered here. Inviting the light of all the ancestors guiding us, supporting us. And inviting that light of all beings throughout our Mother Earth who are helping to generate peace, generate love, healing, and compassion. And allowing that love, that light, that warmth to melt the icy places in our hearts, in our minds. Feeling ourselves absorb into the earth, flowing into the river, letting go gently. Can smile to the river. Feeling the warmth and the sunshine of love and compassion, melting, flowing as a river. And I invite you to stay there as long as you like, flowing as a river. I'm going to offer a song to you, to us. The room in my heart is infinite. There's no limit to what can fit in it. Love is what I give, love is what I get. It's a balance between mind, body, spirit. Flowing as a river, finding that infinite space, that infinite resource in your heart. Trusting that. There's no limit to what can fit in it. And if love is what I give, love is what I get. It's a balance between mind, body, spirit. And the room in my heart is infinite. There's no limit to what can fit in it. And if love is what I give, love is what I get. It's a balance between mind, body, spirit. It's a balance, a balance, a balance, a balance, a balance of y'all. Balance of y'all. Imagine being born a different time or place. No money in your home, different color on your face. What if there was no father to embrace? Nothing but empty love for you to chase. Open up your heart so compassion will replace anger and hatred in every case. Because the room in your heart is infinite. There's no limit to what can fit in it. And if love is what you give, love is what you get. It's a balance between mind, body, spirit. And the room in your heart is infinite. There's no limit to what can fit in it. And if love is what you give, love is what you get. It's a balance between mind, body, spirit. It's a balance, a balance, a balance, a balance, a balance, y'all. Balance, y'all. I see you appear, weighed down by your money and your fear, ignorance and insecurity, trying so desperately to be free. By clinging on to power and control over your sisters and brothers, threatening the health of our very earth mother, exploiting her as you do her daughters, polluting and selling and controlling our waters. I see you, and you're breaking my heart, tearing families apart because of where they were born, leaving poor families torn or by the color of their skin, locking up our children. I see you. You're as old as this country itself, compromising our emotional health. You were there in the slave trade, the very fabric from which this country was made. You were there in the slave trade, the very fabric from which this country was made. Come on, y'all. Our hearts are infinite, for love has no limit. It can't fit the whole world inside of it. Our hearts are infinite, for love has no limit. It can't fit the whole world inside of it. Come on and balance it, balance it, balance it, yeah. Never learned the lessons from your Smith and Wessons and your fire hoses. Your fear exposes your vulnerabilities. You were there in manifest destiny, and you're still trying so hard to be free, locked in the prison of your hatred and insanity. You were there in the boarding schools. You were the criminally cruel policies, stealing children from their families with the stroke of a pen. We always knew we would see you again, and you've never really been that well hidden. Trying the same old tricks to no avail. Racist confusion will always fail. This is a sickness, an old disease. Let us help you with your suffering, please. This is a sickness, an old disease. Let us help you with your suffering, please. And let it free, let it free, let it flow inside of me. From the mountains and the trees, let it flow eternally. Let it free, let it free, let it flow inside of me. From the mountains and the trees, let it flow eternally, yeah. Come on and balance it, balance it, balance it, balance it, yeah. My heart, the room in my heart, the room in my heart is infinite. Love is what I give, love is what I give. Room in my heart, the room in my heart, the room in my heart, the room in my heart is infinite, infinite, it's infinite, infinite, it's infinite. It don't stop and it don't quit. The room in my heart is infinite, and it don't stop and it don't quit. The room in your heart is infinite. It's infinite. It's infinite. It's yeah, yeah. It's infinite hearts. We have infinite hearts. So that's a version of a song I wrote after my very first meditation retreat way back, maybe like, I don't know, 16, 18 years ago. And I was so helped by the connection to that infinite space within. You know, the relief from my anxiety, the relief from my fears that were gripping my heart. And later I realized, you know, that fear is the root or part of the root of a lot of our societal suffering. The colonization we've experienced, our ancestors have experienced, the wars that are happening, this war in Ukraine that's so hard to witness, right? That root is in the fear, the wanting to control, to dominate. And so the way that I have learned, and I'm still learning to practice, is that I need to first take care of that fear, that suffering in myself. And that's something that Thich Nhat Hanh as a teacher really helped me with, to come back to myself first, to see where is that suffering coming from, to embrace it, not to run from it, which is also part of my inheritance, is to try to avoid suffering. You know, the histories of addiction, of alcoholism in my own life and in my family of origin. And so learning about how we have other ways. Our indigenous ways, you know, teach us so much. There's so much wisdom there. This Buddhist path, there's so much wisdom there. In Christianity, in Islam, in all the traditions, there's so much wisdom. But even within those traditions, we can be, they can be used to exploit or to circumvent the suffering, to try to control. I know I was raised Catholic, and so there's a lot of wisdom in that tradition, but also there's history of abuse and trying to control, to dominate. And so for me in my healing is, how can I get beneath the surface, beneath the labels, beneath that fear response, that trauma response that wants to be in control. Let go enough to embrace the infinite that's right here. And I certainly, one thing I have found for sure is I can't do that alone. I cannot do that as one individual. I can do that as a member of community and spiritual community, beloved community. And so that's the only reason I'm able to do what I do, which is to just work on my own internal compost, sing and share the practice that I learned that helps me, and hopefully help support that healing and that recovery in others. So I do prefer to sing more than to talk, so I'm going to sing another song. This one is breathing in. I'm alive right here. Breathing out, my mind is clear. Breathing in, my body is at ease. Breathing out, I am at peace. And I wrote this song on another meditation retreat, this one at Plum Village. Plum Village in France, which was started by Thich Nhat Hanh and many friends after he was exiled, not allowed to return to Vietnam for speaking out against the war that was happening there in his home country. And out of that suffering, he and they were able to grow a place, a community of peace, community of healing, and we're part of that community right now. It doesn't matter if you're Buddhist, not Buddhist, religious, not religious. You are a human, alive on the earth right now. Breathing, we are deeply connected to one another, to all beings. And so in this song, I invite you to recognize whatever that fear is that's gripping your heart, whatever that difficulty is, it's okay. You can say hello fear, hello anxiety, hello grief, hello suffering. I'm here for you. I'm gonna breathe with you. We're here together. Breathing in, I am alive right here. Breathing out, my mind is clear. Breathing in, my body is at ease. Breathing out, I am at peace. Breathing. Let's try that again. Sing with me if you like, or just breathe with me. Breathing in, breathing in. I am alive right here. Breathing out, my mind is clear. My mind is clear. Breathing in, my body is at ease. My body is at ease. Breathing out, I am at peace. I am at peace. Breathing. Yes, just breathing with it. Whatever it is, it's okay. When we bring our energy of mindfulness to our breath, to our suffering, we can touch compassion. Compassion for ourselves, compassion for others. We can share that compassion with one another. We can share that compassion with those who are in the Ukraine, with those who are experiencing violence. Can offer that to them. Breathing in, I am alive right here. Breathing out, my mind is clear. Breathing in, my body is at ease. Breathing out, I am at peace. Breathing. There are so many reasons to be happy. There are so many reasons to be happy and to give thanks. And there are so many reasons to give thanks and be happy. And there are so many reasons to be happy, to give praise, to give praise, to give praise. Now just let your voice sing out a bit like with our broken hearts. Right now, the only place to start, generating peace, generating ease, breathing with each other, breathing with the trees. Please, I'm on my knees, singing to the crucified Christ, singing to the Buddha, singing to my ancestors, asking guidance, for that light, the light of love, reminding that's what we're all made up of. Relaxing into the breath, breathing beyond birth, beyond death. Opening our hearts, allow healing to manifest. Inviting the elements in all directions, northeast, south, and west. I'm sitting in my room, I'm sweeping with my broom, I'm dancing with the moon. I will be dreaming soon, but for now I'm wide awake, sitting still like a lake with some wild rice growing. It's really nice knowing who I really am, who we really are. Sometimes I can't forget when I'm driving in my car. It's time to pull over, didn't go very far. Try walking on the earth, you might think that sounds bizarre. I think it's rather funny to let go of my money and be one with the energy that flows in me and around me. And so I just surround me with flowers and poetry, beautiful verses. So when my mind disperses, I remember we've rehearsed this to not get caught in the cycle of birth and death. I really don't know about that, so I'll just follow my breath. Follow my breath. Follow your breath with me. Breathing in, I am alive right here. Breathing out, my mind is clear. Breathing in, my body is at ease. Breathing out, I am at peace. Reasons to be happy. Can you think of one right now? There are so many reasons to be happy, to give thanks. There are so many reasons to give thanks and be happy. And there are so many reasons to be happy, to give praise, to give Thank you for breathing with me. Thank you for singing with me. I have no idea if what I'm saying is making any sense to anybody else, but to me it's just flowing out, flowing through me. So I hope it's helping you. I know I've only done a few songs. I had a whole list, but my songs tend to be on the long side, so I know I'm kind of at the point of taking a break. Okay, good. It is making sense. I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah, sing along. Thank you for singing along. Yes. So that's a big part of my journey is singing through the fear, singing through the anxiety. Because when I'm gripped in suffering, I'm no use to anybody, you know. I'm no use to, I can't be of service. So how best can I be of service? It's when I'm taking care of my heart, my body, my mind. When I can allow the Spirit to sing through me and share that. And so I invite you to sing in whatever way is right for you, because our world needs that. We need the peace. We need the compassion. We need another way. Obviously, the way of war, the way of colonization, continues to create so much suffering. And so to write your own songs, whatever way, and not literally, necessarily, but in what way can your life be a song, yeah, and be sung. So I can take questions or I can sing another song. I'm open. Hey Tish, wonderful. Song, okay. Let's do another one. Okay, yes, please. I will love to. The Good Red Road. So in our indigenous communities, the Red Road is a metaphor for walking in a good way, walking a sober life, a life rooted in the original teachings, the indigenous ways. It's not easy to do. But we can come back to those ways of love, those wisdom teachings within each of us. And in Anishinaabe Moen, there's a word, Mino Bimaadizwin, that means to walk in a good way, to live in a good way. And here in Detroit, that's the indigenous name of we have a community health center, Mino Bimaadizwin. And on a recent night, the last year or so, when I was all alone, or I felt all alone, and I was feeling some of that fear, some of that worry, some of that feeling of unworthiness creep in, I sat down and lit my candle and burned some sage, said some prayers, and the song came to me, Mino Bimaadizwin. So I want to sing it to you and offer it in support of your path of healing, your path of coming back home. Mino Bimaadizwin, walking in a good way. Wonder, you're made of earth and stars, you're made of thunder. Remember who you are. Mino Bimaadizwin, walking in a good way. Darkest hour, you can still see. Use your power to look deeply, not by yourself alone, but with the Spirit. Come back home, you can hear it. Mino Bimaadizwin, weweni masang manda Anishinaabe Atziwin, Ikendan Danishing God. Regimendan Eyaoyen Kegwas Exeke Gameshkoadis Begin again Madado Gibabi Eche Mino Bimaadizwin Walking in a good way from this good red road we're on. I know it'll be okay, and when the storms come, don't be afraid. You have strength from your ancestors. You are made. You can sing your songs. You can say your prayers. Make your offering. The Spirit's waiting there. Walking in a good way on this good red road we're on. Well, I know it'll be okay. So the Spirit does provide for us a good way if we work with it, if we listen, we work together in community. And thank you for helping me live that today. I do want to leave time if there is any questions, or I can just keep on singing and sharing. Hey Finn, thank you.
Thank you for sharing your songs, and we can maybe squeeze another one in as well. I just wanted to jump in to share with all the folks who are joining us a reminder, if you have any questions coming up in your heart from the time that we've already spent together, that we just want to invite you. If you'd like to, you can click on the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom and type in a question to us. You can also raise a hand or put it in the chat. But if there's something alive in your heart to ask Joe about while we're together, we really want to encourage you to do so we can kind of co-create the space also together. I just want to thank Joe for this time to bring song into our practice. I know, sometimes in my classes with my students, we talk about, what type of meditation should I do? Or sometimes, it doesn't feel safe to just close my eyes and breathe. There's so much going on. And for me, actually, an active part of my practice is your music. Sometimes when I have distress in my body, maybe I want to walk outside and be with nature, but sometimes also to do some walking with a song, to feel that kind of sense of community can be very powerful. So I really appreciate getting to hear them live. And I know them well, so I'm like, ooh, there's a little like switch up on that one there. Like that was a fun riff. So I was really enjoying that opportunity. So yeah, we want to invite in if there's any questions, and maybe, as I said, we can get back to some songs, but please, if you're with us and you'd like to drop something in, we can read it out. You can raise a hand, or you can also put it into the chat. And Joe, I have one question from one of my students actually that I'll read now to just flow us into some Q&A, if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
So the question: regarding people close to us who hold views we feel are problematic, I understand we must continue to see their humanity and see ourselves as being interconnected with them. If the goal isn't to challenge such stances, then what is the goal? Is it to simply agree to disagree, eliminate interpersonal tension or competition? That's the question. Thank you.
Wow, that's a great question. I don't know. I really don't. I think from my own experience, it is to find a way to respond out of compassion and love, as opposed to out of fear and dominance. And again, going back to that, that's the old way that we've been colonized with. We all have been. The control, the fear, the domination. So instead of responding, you're wrong, I'm right, which I can easily feel that way many times, how can I respond with compassion? And sometimes compassion is saying no, compassion for myself, setting a boundary, saying this behavior or these words are not okay. Standing up to injustice, but doing that from a place of love and with love. Love is the way, right? It's the great way of the Buddha, of Jesus, of ancestors. Martin Luther King lived that. So how do we respond to that within others that we see as problematic? First, I have to look kind of like a mirror, right? I might be recognizing this in that other person because I see it in myself. I know it in myself. It's a lot easier to see it in someone else, right? Discrimination, fear, whatever it is, anger, ignorance. So first I have to find it in myself and work with that, take care of that, so that I can touch the love and compassion in myself and respond in that way. This is not easy. Particularly with those who are closest to us, right? It can feel like we're being attacked by maybe some of their choices or words or behaviors. But to be able to step back and to say, okay, this is what helps me, all right, is like, I can't control what anybody else does, I can only respond and choose how I'm going to respond. I'm not going to take it personal. This person is suffering, right? So when I understand that this person is really caught in their own suffering, I can then be compassionate. It doesn't mean I just, don't say anything or let them walk all over me or someone else. We do have to stand up to injustice, but standing up with love rather than continuing war and violence. And I don't really know. I'm practicing. It's a practice. We're learning together. So that's the best I can give you for that question. It's a good question. We can continue to practice with it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think that's such an important kind of thing to share also, that this is an active practice for you. We sometimes talk about it in classes or in academia. We often hold ourselves up or compare ourselves to the folks who are teaching or presenting. And sometimes it can sound like we know everything because we're talking, even from our hearts, but it sounds like we've got it all covered. And so I really appreciate also hearing in that those intentions, and also that they're a practice, that they're evolving in each of us, even those of us who are speaking to you in this webinar, that we are works in progress, as you said off the top, I think is so meaningful, such a meaningful reminder when we come into a space to think about hope and action. I think we also can put pressure on ourselves to have hope and take action. And so that balance of first looking in and kind of seeing what's in my inner landscape and how that is what I'm bringing into the world, I think is such a nice invitation. Thank you. We have another question for you. What's your favorite? I was going to say it's simpler than that one, but actually it might be really complicated because it's maybe about areas that you are very passionate about. What's your favorite book for someone to understand spirituality?
That's a good question. I think my answer is no book. I have read a lot of books, and I think Being Peace was one, the first book I read by Thich Nhat Hanh. Actually, Living Buddha, Living Christ was another one that really spoke to me because, like I said, being raised Catholic, recognizing the connections between traditions. But to understand spirituality, for me anyway, it's not found in a book. The book can be a guide, but it really is in my daily life and looking at my experiences. What is happening? How am I responding? And what am I learning from that? And it is a continuous work in progress. You know, sometimes I feel like I make a little progress and then I'm right back where I started, but I have more experience that time, right? And so I can look with that lens of the wisdom gained from the experience. And to me, that's how I learn about spirituality, and also by sharing with other people, other spiritual friends like Ellie, like Kyra Jewell, Larry Ward, other folks who are doing that work and that practice in themselves and have been for longer than I have. So looking to them for guidance. So for me, it's more than that. So I know you asked about a book, and books are really good and important too. But for me, that has to come first, is like it's a lived experience. And actually, maybe another answer is my own journals. So journaling for me is a really important part of my spiritual practice. So taking that reflective time to really express what's in my heart in a place that I don't have to share it with anybody. I might choose to, but it could just stay there. And so journaling for me, so journals, you know, a blank journal is a really important tool for me to learn about and develop my spirituality. So that's all I got on that one. I hope that helps.
I enjoy the Zen answer of what book? No book in an empty page. Just to honor some comments coming in that you may want to, they're not necessarily questions, but you can we can honor and hold and even respond to what's alive for you. Just to read out loud, thank you for sharing your story of trauma and addiction. I am in recovery from both many years now. Felt so welcomed and healed by your honesty. We are all family, and love is the only way to stay on the path of healing. I thoroughly enjoyed your music.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, and so glad to hear you're in recovery too. I feel like whether or not we personally struggle with addictions, like we're all touched by it somehow, and we can all use recovery, you know, and that's what to me, all these paths are one, you know, that's just how it comes through in me. But that process of recovering who we are as human beings, you know, and for me, the 12-step programs are super, super helpful. I know it's not for everybody, but for me, it's, yeah, crucial. So I'm glad to hear there's other folks who are, you know, really, it takes a lot of courage to admit we are powerless over many things. And yeah, so thanks for doing that work.
We have a few more very powerful questions, and I'm just interested also this word recovery, doing work with the Ontario Hospital Association right now and other hospitals, and this term recovery, that there's this, this question, how will we recover from some of the collective trauma we've been experiencing over the last few years? What does recovery look like? This sense of like we're moving somewhere, and so I think that word, is just interesting. And I'll ask some other questions. I don't mean to take up space with my own, but just to ask you in this moment as you use that word also, if you have any reflection, for those, particularly I'm thinking about those working, in healthcare spaces, that there's this question not only maybe of physical recovery we're doing from this, but also the kind of mental load that has been part of this experience.
Yes, for so many of us, there's so many layers of trauma that are compounded by the work that we do, or our experiences, or what we've inherited from our ancestors and historical trauma. And recovery, to me, means the recovery of our humanness. So reconnecting to the heart, reconnecting to the spirit, not just a monetary value, which is assigned to every aspect of our lives, but the human part. So recovery to me means that, and to do that, we do have to recover from addictions. We have to recover from legacies of colonization, of racism, of sexism. We have a lot of recovery, so yeah. It's a lot of work, but it's good work. It's necessary.
Yeah, and I appreciate that invitation of how are we reconnecting to what it means to be human. It reminds me, on a research lens, whenever we're reading about burnout, and we're measuring this in the literature using usually the Matchlatch Burnout Inventory, and the wonderful human who made that actually wrote a book for clinicians on what burnout is, and shares that, she deeply sees that it's when we remove the human element of our work that often that is one of the causes for what we might call burnout. So interesting to see those coming together, and maybe streamlines me into, we have a few questions here, but one that says, it seems like you combine wisdom from lots of different traditions. Do you have a favorite insight from each? Which might be too long a list, but I'll send that out to you to see what you do with it.
Well, yes, it's just compassion and love. And I want to share that with Barbara Rose, who shared that she lost her son at age 39 to alcoholism. And just, I'm sorry for your loss. It's really painful. And to all those who are talking about ACOA, Adult Children of Alcoholics, Al-Anon is a great, really, really wonderful program for family and friends of alcoholics. There's a lot of Zoom meetings. I've been going to tons of them this winter, going through a lot of my own difficulties, and they've helped me so much. I've been part of that program for like 16 years now, and it's helped me a lot. So I encourage, those of you who have that experience with alcoholism in your families, to seek out that support. It's, for me anyway, it's been really helpful. And it was actually the Buddhist mindfulness trainings, the 5 mindfulness trainings through Thich Nhat Hanh, that after receiving those back in 2004 helped me to see more of my own suffering more clearly and the roots of that suffering, and that's what led me to my own path of recovery in the 12 steps. So for me, these paths are interwoven and interconnected. So that's the common thing among all traditions for me, is my favorite thing, coming back to compassion, coming back to love. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for another Zen answer. I was like, this is complicated. You're like, well, actually, it can be quite simple. And I think, that's a beautiful part of our practice also is sometimes we say simple, not easy. but to allow it also to be not too complicated. This question, as I said, sometimes, when I'm in healthcare and education, we can make things really complex because there is so much, as you've been holding today, so much complexity that, is what is around us that's manifesting this fear, this anxiety, but also that we can allow there to be some maybe simple answers across traditions, across intentions. Another question I wanted to offer that came up in our panelist box. As a globally privileged person, I often feel guilt when cultivating joy when there's so much suffering in the world, and I feel like I'm not doing enough. How do we deal with this?
Yeah, I can relate to that feeling of I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough. It's really kind of based in our ego, like I have to be this great thing. I have to save everybody. Like, no, we can't do that. Actually, what we can do is be alive in ourselves and in our, engaged in our lives in a way that shares compassion with others and those around us. We have to start with ourselves. We got to be healthy in ourselves first in order to share that. And so questioning that, that whatever that narrative is, that I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough, in my experience, it gets in the way. It's kind of rooted in a shame message for me of like, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough. And but simply by being human, we are enough. We are enough to generate a lot of really wonderful healing elements in ourselves and in our lives and in the lives of those that we touch around us. Yeah. So reminding ourselves we are enough. It doesn't mean that we're any more important than anybody else, but we're also not any less.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful reminder too. I notice so much of what I want to offer. Sometimes we say like we are all kind of leaders in our different spheres of influence. It might just be with our families, our students, our friends, or we work for the UN and it's the whole world. We don't know. But that invitation of like, who am I in that space? Someone commented that they appreciated you saying recovery to our humanness. When I give myself permission to be happy, that's like what I bring out in the world. And so, as you were sharing, I was thinking about that interconnection of this question where it's like, if I let myself feel joy, I actually maybe offer more where I mean to in this kind of paradoxical way. So it's an interesting question there. And I again wanted to repeat recovery to our humanness as something coming up in the chat. I think maybe I'll offer this one other question, and then that perhaps will give us time if you'd like to offer us another song that I think would be a nice way to bring our session together. We have a question. I've been fascinated by somatics as of recently, restoring balance and health with the body through vibration and frequencies. Joe, since you're so passionate about music and healing, is this something you incorporate into your songs?
Yes. Yeah, for me, the music has always been a way to connect to healing. And that's why I think I was drawn to want to learn guitar and write songs and sing. And that's what I also share with, I do a lot of work with children, and music is a big part of that. And so it does automatically bring us back into our body. The voice connects us with the breath. And then bringing in dance and movement. Yeah, so yes, I really try to use the somatic part of the experience as well as the spiritual. It's all connected. It's not separate. So yeah.
Thank you. Well, I'll hand it back over to you in a moment. A question that came in earlier, maybe I'll check my answer that I gave in the chat. Some folks were asking about your recordings and how best to access them. So maybe I'll ask you that question, and then if you want to take us into a song, and then after that, everyone, I'll just give some wrap up words, and I'll ask also Sam, our wonderful student hire who's been helping behind the scenes. We'll drop in a resources sheet into the chat now, just in case any folks have to leave, that has links to Joe's website, our other speakers, and to our co-sponsors, different events going on if you want to keep exploring this topic. So Joe, just a question about where to find your recordings, and then I'll hand it over to you to offer something else to us.
Certainly, and thank you again, Ellie, and everybody for making this possible and allowing me to be here. I'm real honored to be part of this. So thank you, Sam and Yasmin and Nathan and Nancy, for hanging out together in the Zoom room. Hope it wasn't too boring. And thank you all for attending. Yes, you can find any of my songs on any kind of streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel. And there's links on my website, joereilly.org. And I do still have CDs you can order, which you can find on my website too, if anybody is old school. So all the talk about recovery reminded me of this song, which was also recorded or written at Plum Village. It was inspired during Dharma sharing, which is a practice of sharing from the heart. And it was a very familiar practice to me, recognizing, in our native communities when we have a talking circle, it's a sharing from the heart. When I'm in a recovery meeting, it's a sharing from the heart, and it's a listening, a deep listening. And so that realizing these circles of recovery are come in many forms, and inspired this song, We Are. So if you want to sing along, this was on the Greyhound bus tour, Thich, you're right, which is an album that I released many years ago now. So you can just sing along. It goes, we are, we are, we are, we are. And if you want to snap, you can also go, we are, we are, we are. Or if you have any percussion instruments, we are, you can play along at home. We are on a path of healing, and we are feeling what we're feeling, and we are circles of recovery, and we are a rediscovery of who we really be, communities of the heart, and we are communities of the heart, and we are communities of the heart, and we are our gardens, self-care. We are breathing through the despair. We are making our way. We are right here today. Everyone has a story, it's yours to say. Be brave, be not afraid. With faith we are made, and we become a part of this river that's flowing, this garden that's growing, the garden of your heart. Put away your weapons. I don't need knives or guns. All I need is my journal and lyrics eternal. From my pen to the pages, to this river that rages. Be brave and courageous, calm down your flow. Breathe with what you know. Take it easy and slow, and let go gently. We are on a path of healing, and we are feeling what we're feeling, and we are circles of recovery, and we are a rediscovery of who we really be, communities of the heart, and we are communities of the heart, and we are communities of the heart, and we are here for each other. We we are siblings, sisters, and brothers. We are connected to our mother. We are. Search for your truth, mentor the youth. For those who walk behind us, leave compassion and kindness. Make space to write poetry. Take time to know the trees, pines, oaks, and hickories. Beware of the trickeries of our society's material illusions. We suffer from delusion and pollution. Come back to the solution. It's wonderful and pleasant to be alive with you right here and now in the present. We are on the path of healing. We are feeling what we're feeling. And we are circles of recovery. And we are a rediscovery of who we really be. Communities of the heart. And we are communities of the heart. And we are communities of the heart. And we are, come on now. We are of the heart. And we are communities. We are of the heart, and we are communities. Being up to see the sunrise, opening our spiritual eyes, hearts of many colors. Little tomato and turkey vulture, inclusive of all culture, tradition, overcoming the mission, returning to love and compassion. Healing is the new fashion, the interaction, the breath. Just this. Open-hearted shares, our lives are our prayers. We turn over our cares and concerns. These lessons have been learned through our own experiences day to day. We look beyond appearances so we could say, I could really see you, and you're wonderful just as you are. 'Cause we are on the path of healing. We are feeling what we're feeling. And we are circles of recovery. And we are a rediscovery of who we really be. Communities of the heart. And we are communities of the heart. And we are communities of the heart. And we are peace and solidity. Interconnected community. The love we generate. Stop. Breathe, meditate. We are of the heart, and we are community. We are of the heart, and we are calling all loving hearts, 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 calling all loving hearts. Keep singing, keep ringing, keep feeling, keep healing, keep letting go. Healing karma. We are wisdom and dharma. We are. We are. We are. We are. We are. All right. Yes, we are. Thanks, everybody. That was fun. We had a little collaboration. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, so fun to hear that song live and then hear the riffs as the chats are coming and get integrated in. And yeah, a beautiful invitation also seeing in the chat this opportunity to come together today. Even though we aren't in a physical traditional room, but that we get to create this community together today. So I appreciate also that song, that being that reminder that, as you shared, we're not alone, that we're part of this stream of humans that are interested in love and compassion and healing. And so much in the chat today of just all of you supporting us to make the invisible visible, sharing your stories and hearing Joe's story. That's really our intention behind each of these sessions in this series, is to get to come together and hear one another's questions and wisdom and song. So Joe, just a big thank you again for your time and energy today. So wonderful to have you here. And for all of you joining us, again, just a warm invitation. We'll be back together on April 1st with Larry Ward. So if you can, please join us. We'll send you a little reminder. Thank you, Sam, for always setting that up. And again, just a big thank you to the New College Initiatives Fund, the Buddhism Psychology Mental Health Program, Faculty of Law, School of Environment, Boise Wellness, Academy for Mindfulness and Contemplative Studies at the University of Ottawa. It's so fun to get to have these dialogues together, and for all of you joining to be part of this community. And as I said, bringing so many different traditions and cultural contexts into the space and these questions. I saw in registration we had folks from many different universities, hospitals, and places on this planet that we call Earth. So with that, I want to be mindful of everyone's time and wrap up our session. I really want to wish all of you well going forward, and in whatever big or small ways that may be possible. Sometimes we say just to look out for some of those conditions for happiness that may be there. And that invitation from Joe also to make the songs of our lives, to reflect on ourselves, whether it's actually writing music or journaling or just playing with what we can observe. That's really, I think, what we can offer ourselves in the world for some hope and some action. To kind of start that in ourselves. And it's very hopeful for me to come together like this. So a big thank you. I'm so happy that this was where I needed to spend my time today. I like organize these things sometimes. I'm like, wait, I've added something to my plate. And then I actually come and I'm like, oh, that was a nice thing to add. So with that, a big thank you, Joe, if there's anything else you want to share, and then we'll close the session for today.
Just thank you again, and be good to yourselves and be good to each other.